nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
On December 3rd, 2016, the world's top merchants or businessmen met with Pope Francis at the Vatican to pledge their allegiance or submit to him and his socio-economic agendas. As I've shown you all in my video, Prophecy Fulfillment, Revelation 18 is happening. This event is stunning fulfillment of Bible prophecy. In this chapter, it states how the businessmen of the world will seek out Mystery Babylon, otherwise known as the Vatican, for her abundancies and delicacies. For those who have followed my channel, this event is further confirmation of the fact that we are living in the end times, that the Vatican is Mystery Babylon, and that prophetic fulfillment of the Bible is happening at a rapid pace. It is even amusing to see that those who are non-religious or skeptical of this prophecy were dumbfounded as to why so many of the world's top CEOs sought after Pope Francis at a time when the world is growing more and more secular and anti-Christian. If you haven't seen that video or need clarification of why the Vatican is indeed Mystery Babylon, the link to that video is in the YouTube description box. Well, if that event wasn't enough to confirm your suspicions, let us then turn our attention to an event that happened only 4 months later, on March 24th, 2017. The European Union marked the 60th anniversary of the Treaty of Rome, and all heads of state of the EU headed to the Vatican to submit to the Pope and look to his guidance on how to solve the ailing EU with its political, socio, and economic issues. What is so significant about this? As I've shown you in prior videos, the beast of the sea clearly represents a new European kingdom controlled by a harlot church, or the Vatican. And here we see yet another stunning fulfillment of Bible prophecy, where the beginning of the European Union starts with a Roman treaty 60 years ago and culminates again this year, seeking a rebirth of sorts with Pope Francis as their leader. This event, in and of itself, is sufficient evidence to claim that a major prophetic event has happened. But as always, these events tend to elicit occult symbols and references that are not seen to the untrained eye. For starters, the EU 60th anniversary logo prominently displays the Babylonian sun wheel of Shamash. Those who follow the Vatican understand that sun worship is prominently displayed all throughout the Eucharistic Mass as well as Catholic architecture. Another interesting fact is that it was widely reported among several Catholic news agencies that artist Dario Gambarin created the following crop art of the Colosseum of Rome for the anniversary, which stands for the fact that Rome endures over time. While there is some subtle symbolism here that the beast system has lived throughout this time, the art is fairly innocuous. That is, unless you only consider this one piece of art from this individual. Dario Gambarin is a Catholic that has on several occasions blended Catholicism with pagan symbols of the past. The most brazen of this is seen here, where he carved the Jewish Kabbalah tree of life with the face of Christ in the middle. For those who do not understand Kabbalism, this is the practice of Jewish mysticism, practiced by the likes of Madonna, Leonardo DiCaprio, and other Illuminati insiders. Oh, and no collection of art could be complete without an all-seeing eye. But these two small symbolic samples pale in comparison to an odd statement that Pope Francis said during his 2-hour speech to the EU. In discussing the multitude of crises that are going on around the world, he says, "So many crises that engender fear and profound confusion in our contemporaries, who look for a new way of envisioning the future. Yet the term crisis is not necessarily negative. It does not simply indicate a painful moment to be endured. The word crisis has its origin in the Greek verb krino, which means to discern, to weigh, to assess. Ours is a time of discernment, one that invites us to determine what is essential and to build on it. It is a time of challenge and opportunity." The word crisis does indeed come from the Greek verb krino. However, while the definition of krino in the modern tongue could have synonyms such as discern, weigh, and assess, as Pope Francis says, it actually has a much more prominent translation, and that is judgment. The Bible uses the word krino 99 times, with 9 of the times being mentioned in the book of Revelation. Krino is the testing, trial, or judgment of men before the final harvest of the bride by Christ. So, isn't it interesting that Pope Francis spoke to the governmental heads that today is a time of judgment, one in which it is essential to build back the European Union? To me, this reaffirms his character as the false prophet, telling men to build themselves and their kingdoms up. As with Pope Francis's other speeches given at the UN, the US Capitol, and others, he has never once mentioned Christ or forgiveness. To me, this message is incredibly clear. Now, some may continue to say that these events are a mere coincidence, are an opinionated matter that stretches biblical symbolism, or are the interpretation of yet another one of those, quote, crazy Christians. But for the curious person who hears this message and has not yet found Christ, I encourage you to cultivate that curiosity. This world is brimming with lies, and it will soon come to pass. But there is one good truth that you can hold on to. Ask for forgiveness from Yeshua, Jesus Christ, who was begotten of the Father. Ask him to save you from this world. I pray that you do. This is Mike with On Point Preparedness. Until the next video, see you all later.